Thank you. Thank you for showing up for the Mind Training Monday, for the day 27 of the Awakening Intensive. And so today we're going to go through one of the lessons, lesson 41, I think it is. And we use it as a way to come into meditation, into quiet, into contact, into direct communication. And so we'll see how this continues, how this evolves, so to speak. Whatever comes up, I will share with you. And for now, I'm really happy that you're here and that you decided to join us here, and that you take time to become still instead of letting yourself be distracted by the world temporarily. And because it is like, okay, it doesn't matter what time it is. You always return back to the same moment. It doesn't matter. Like, okay, I had such a busy area, whatever your story is. Here's the quiet zone, so to speak. Here's the moment of quiet, the moment of relaxation. It has nothing to do with what happened previous. And it's just, say, available right now. And you decide to join and to be part of that. So that's so wonderful. Because why is that so great? It is so great because actually you're spending some time, some real time. So using time in a constructive way, as it says in the course. It's like using time in a constructive way. Well, you don't know how to do that. So that's why becoming quiet is the least you can do, so to speak. It is like the one way in which you know that you're going to be directed, and that everything will fall into place for you, and that you actually have a moment in which you are present. And well, that doesn't happen when you're occupied or when you're distracted or when you're like all over the place with your consciousness, or when you're in fear, or when you're angry, or when you are thinking that you're missing out on something. Like any kind of sense of limitation, of limited thinking, is preventing you, in fact, from having this quiet moment of abundance, and in which you can open your mind to receive, not using your mind for any other reason, just to let it be open, so the light can literally come in to you, having sufficient space between your thoughts, quieting down your mind, so in order to receive. So that's the practice that we do today too. So it's very much to the point. It's lesson 41. It's very instructive in that sense. And we just use this to come into the sense of meditation and connectedness, because it has everything to do with it. So that's what I wanted to do. But first I will read the review of the first 7 lessons, just as a kind of a warming up. It is always good to read it, just in case you want to pick up on something that actually has no reality at all. So the first 7 lessons reviewed. Nothing I see from this little 20-minute book that you can get as a download. Anyway, nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. I've given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this that I can see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I'm willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me and I do not want to see according to them. I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it. But there is every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this, merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts, and my real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I'm not aware of them because I've made my thoughts to take their place. I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think because I'm constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I'm constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I've not realized how much I've misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I've done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. I'm willing to let it go. I'm upset because I see what is not there. Reality is never frightening. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I'm upset, it is always because I've replaced reality with illusions, and thus regard reality as an illusion. The illusions are upsetting because I've given them reality, and thus regard reality as an illusion. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I'm always upset by nothing. I see only the past. As I look about, I condemn the world I look upon, and I call this seeing. I hold the past against everyone and everything, making them my enemies. When I've forgiven myself and remembered who I am, I will bless everyone and everything I see. There will be no past and therefore no enemies. And I will look with love on all that I failed to see before. So that was the review of the first 7 lessons. And to me it's always great to use them because they say chop your thinking system into pieces. In fact, it's like they really shred them. There's nothing that is valuable in the way that you think, and the way that you think as a human being, like your associative thinking, this. Like in order to experience a moment of reality, a real moment, it is important to let them go. Because you might only need to be open to receive what is given in the moment that you want to be in communication or have that in your awareness. So I'm actually curious what the title of this lesson is that we do today. Oh yeah, God goes with me wherever I go. So that is not just a thought, you know. God goes with me wherever I go. That's not just a thought. No, it is an opportunity for revelation, an opportunity to have a direct experience of that for you. And this is what we say get ourselves into by doing this lesson. That's why it came to me, like, just for that, and just to realize it is not just doing an exercise, not just having some time, spending some time and listening to some great ideas. No, actually, this can happen to you right now. That becomes a direct experience, and why not? So we'll do this really quiet and relaxed, and especially based on going deep within yourself. So taking time to digest what's given, or to let yourself be affected by it, to feel what is being shared more than anything. So it's really good to relax in that, to sit back and taking time to listen to it. And any kind of thought that comes up, to resist it, just forget about it, or keep your mind focused in that sense that you stay with it, if possible. You cannot do that the whole time, I understand, but it's like, look at the opportunity, see what is actually given to you. Like, wow, that's so amazing. So you will hear it. So let me take a sip of tea. Here, look at this. This is just the first sentence. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment, which all the separated ones experience. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and an intense fear of loss. So going back to the first sentence. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment, which all the separated ones experience. What is today's idea? God goes with me wherever I go. God goes with me wherever I go. So this idea will slowly but certainly sink into your every cell of your body. And like the ancient feelings of abandonment, the ancient feelings of loneliness, they are just so like common in that sense. They're so there for so many of us. Whether you are aware of it, whether you're denying it, whether you're fighting against it and proving that you're not alone or not lonely or not abandoned, not having feelings of abandonment. Like, this is so ancient, it's unbelievable. So this, instead of taking medication or going to a shrink to dive into your past and dig up some more pain or anything, here's an idea from out of time, like from out of the whole human frame of reference. God goes with me wherever I go. That's not just an idea, that is the confirmation. And you can experience that in every cell of your body. God goes with me wherever I go. You need confirmation of that? Well, we come to that later. That was just the first sentence. Can you believe that? So depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, intense fear of loss, and on and on and on. You fill in the blank because you have your own examples of that. So it's an inevitable consequence of an idea of separation, thinking that you are separated and that you're not, that God does not go with you. That is the cause of your sense of deprivation, as if something is deprived from you. And that's good to realize that, to be aware of that, and to see that there's an instantaneous, say, idea, experience that does completely wipe that away. So that's so amazing. So here it is. The separated ones have invented many cures for what they believe to be as the ills of the world. But the one thing they do not question is the reality of the problem. So there are many cures. Well, absolutely. Many cures are being, like cures between between brackets, so to speak. Cures for anxiety. Well, go to the drugstore and check it out. Anxiety, worry, helplessness, misery, suffering, fear. Look at the whole industry around that. Like there's an incredible industry in what doesn't even help, and what is not taking away the. See, it is typically human to say suppress symptoms. Like this is just a symptom. Instead of going to the root and checking out what is the reason that this can occur in the first place. So no, we stay on a superficial level with our consciousness and find ways to, say, wash it over, or to temporarily get it out of our awareness, to temporarily, say, soften it, or even that doesn't work. But anyway, like the medication, and I noticed from the psychiatric places that I worked, like, you see that all this has so much side effects that needs to be suppressed too. So it's like how incredibly, say, not working is that altogether. So for one thing, you're not looking at the root. For a second thing, the cure that's being presented in the form of a little pill or an injection or whatever is not working in that sense. Only temporarily numbs you, maybe, and then it has an incredible lot of side effects. It's very expensive, and it's like, yeah, it has no confirmation of connectedness, of warmth, of say, a change of mind, really fundamentally changing something inside of you, so that it will be healed instead of cured. So this is huge. It's like, wow, this is controversial to the world, totally controversial. If you see, like, if you would look around and check it out, how many of the citizens of the world are actually using medication to suppress all this. It is amazing. It's amazing. So that's not our concern today. So we sink deeper. But I touch the superficial level of humanhood, and you see immediately, like, well, that is absolutely not the answer to it, because it hasn't solved anything yet, and it will never solve anything either, because you cannot, say, let something be healed, say, solving a problem in a sense, by letting the problem dissolve, because there's an input, an influx of a new idea, something that is real and has the confirmation, even your physical confirmation. Yes, this is so. Like your cells love to hear about God. Your cells love the vibration of love. Your cells need it in order to function. Well, that's not so extreme, is it? You know this, so everyone knows that too, at least deep in your heart. So the idea for today has the power to end this foolishness forever. So maybe that's why it's not so popular. Maybe that's the reason why it's not so popular. It's like, well, if that, yeah, well, there's my business goes down because I'm selling these pills and or something like that. Like, no, we don't want to hear this. The idea for today has the power to end all this foolishness forever. And foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. Despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. It is foolishness. So I can tell you from experience the serious and tragic forms it takes. So walk around in a mental hospital and you see many of the occasions, or yeah, you see how people suffer, in fact, by not seeing that, by not having that as an option, by not having the real solution as an option, but just being part of a system that just goes on by itself. It appears that way. So, and that's why this is so important, because it starts with you. If you hear what this says, then you can completely trust it and rely on it and open yourself up for it. God goes with me wherever I go. Okay, so now we come to the altar, so to speak. We come closer to the altar inside of you. Deep within you is everything that is perfect. Deep within you is everything that is perfect. So say that after me. Deep within me is everything that is perfect. Deep within me is everything that is perfect. Deep within me there's everything that is perfect. Deep within me there's everything that is perfect. So you like to connect with that. So ready to radiate through you and out into the whole world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to these beliefs. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss. Wait, I'll do this a little bit slower. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to these beliefs. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness, because its source goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer, because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone, because the source of all life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind, because God goes with you wherever you go. So you want me to repeat that to you? I love to. I love to. Oh wow, this is so in your face. Salvation in your face, so to speak. That's so great. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness, because its source, the source of holiness, goes with you wherever you go. You can never suffer, because the source of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone, because the source of all life goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind, because God goes with you wherever you go. So it's like, any questions? I love this. We understand, so we're talking about the brotherhood from out of time. We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you? When the truth is hidden deep within, under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all that you see. Just like we said in the first 7 lessons, like all these insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all that you see. Like I'm only seeing the representation of my own thoughts, and those are insane. Okay, so today we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and to go through it to the light beyond. Today we will make our first attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud of denial and to go through it to the light beyond. Most of all, try to sink down and inward, like down and inward, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts of the world. You are trying to reach past all these things. All the foolish thoughts of the world. Trying to reach past all these things. And trying to leave appearances and approach reality. You are trying to leave appearances and approach reality. And that is happening right now. It is quite possible to reach God. It is quite possible to reach God. In fact, it is very easy, because it is the most natural thing in the world. It is quite possible to reach God. In fact, it is very easy, because it is the most natural thing in the world. You might even say it's the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. So you might even say it's the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. This exercise can bring very startling results, even the first time it is attempted, like we do now. And sooner or later it is always successful. We will go into more detail in connection with this kind of practice as we go along, but it will never fail completely, and instant success is possible. So here's a suggestion. Throughout the day, use today's idea often, repeating it very slowly. So what was the idea again? Oh yeah, wait a minute. God goes with me wherever I go. God goes with me wherever I go. Preferably with eyes closed. Think of what you are saying and what the words mean. Concentrate on the holiness which they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship which is yours, on the complete protection that surrounds you. You can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God goes with you wherever you go. So today we make a first attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and to go through it to the light beyond. There will be only one long practice period today, and we're going to do that right now. In the morning, yes, as soon as you get up, or if possible, sit quietly for some 3 to 5 minutes with your eyes closed. At the beginning of this practice period, repeat today's idea slowly. Oh yeah, what was the idea again? Oh yeah, God goes with me wherever I go. Then make no effort to think of anything. Try, instead, to get a sense of turning inward, past all the idle thoughts of the world. Try to enter very deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of any thoughts that might divert your attention. So at the beginning of this practice period, repeat today's idea very slowly. Then make no effort to think of anything. Try instead to get a sense of turning inward past all the idle thoughts of the world. Try to enter deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of any thoughts that might divert your attention. So God goes with me wherever I go. So we're going to practice that now for just a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. right. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this lesson of today. And yeah, we continue tonight, at least for the Europeans, like we continue tonight with the quantum body meeting, seminar. So you're welcome to join, and have a great day. Thank you so much.